Alex Winter will likely always be known as Bill S. Preston in the Bill and Ted films, but the actor also made a name for himself in cult films like The Lost Boys and has taken several stabs at directing. 1993's Freaked, his first feature, which he co-directed with Tom Stern, showed the chaos he could create on the silver screen when allowed to go wild. Over 3 decades later, he's still at it with his latest movie, Adulthood. Written by Michael M.B. Galvin and starring an impressive cast that includes Josh Gad, Kaya Scodelario, Anthony Carrigan, and Billy Lord. Adulthood is a dark comedy that's not as twisted as Freaked, but is still as intense in its own, way more down-to-earth way, with a plot centered on an adult brother and sister trying to hide the corpse they find in their hospitalized mother's basement. Galvin and Winter craft a film where mistakes pile up and anything is possible. In a world of endless sequels and reboots, Adulthood is for the grown-ups, even if the characters don't act like them. Adulthood begins with Judy Robles in her home with her live-in caretaker of 5 months, Grace, when she has a massive stroke. On hearing the news, Judy's 2 children, Noah and Meg, rush home to see their mom and take care of the home while she's in the hospital. If you haven't been spoiled by the trailer, you might think you know where this is going. These 2 siblings, who are the exact opposite of each other, are going to go on an emotional journey of self-discovery that will bring them closer. But then, Noah and Meg find the body of their neighbor, who has been missing for decades, sealed up in a wall in the basement of their childhood home. With their mother unable to speak and tell them what happened, Noah and Meg can only guess at the crime. One of their parents killed their neighbor many years ago, and now the mummified evidence of the crime has been found. Meg wants to call the cops, while Noah, a down-and-out writer who needs his mother's inheritance when she passes, wants to hide the body and pretend none of this ever happened. If they settle on the former, you wouldn't have much of a movie, so it's hiding the body that we get. From here on out, everything in adulthood goes even more wrong than it already has, with one bad decision leading to the next. To make matters worse, Grace knows too much, and the Robles kids bring in their intimidating cousin, Bodie, to help get them out of their ever-widening mess. Adulthood is a drama and a dark comedy, but it's grounded in a perverse reality. What would you do to protect your own family and yourself? There is a popular YouTube video where Matt Stone and Trey Parker of South Park teach screenwriting to a college class. In the clip, Parker talks about how to connect the beats of a script. If your beats are connected by, "and then this happened," you're in trouble. Instead, you need those big moments to be held together by therefore and but. Actions have consequences, and that's what carries adulthood through each act, which only gets more crazed with every scene. Noah and Meg hide the body, but then it's found. They try to pay off someone who finds out what they're doing, but they counter with their own plans. They bring in Bodie for help, but he's not a dependable assistant. Therefore, things only get more intense. At every fork in the road, Michael M.B. Galvin's script has his characters seeing the right and wrong choice, only to choose something else we're not even thinking of, which results in their predicament getting much worse in ways that are plausible and not gimmicks. There is no "and then this happened." This doesn't mean that adulthood is a farce. Despite the over-the-top choices, which lead to a lot of violence and death, the actions still feel realistic. There is laughter to be found in such exaggerated mayhem where nothing goes right, but it still stays grounded. With a little less control exuded, adulthood could have become an absurd satire that riffs on the cluelessness of adults. But there's still a story here that's grounded in pain. Winter plays the son of the deceased, and we often see him wandering around town, his head in the clouds, a broken boy who never quite became a man. Every single time he comes into view, it's a reminder that there is much more here than laughs. To pull off a film with such a tense premise and the twisted layers that peel off of it, you have to find a grounded center or the audience will lose any emotional investment. At that point, you've just got yourself a live-action Looney Tunes bit. It's not only the script which realizes this, but Alex Winter's direction, which is quiet, rather than loud and in-your-face. Adulthood isn't a film with constant screaming or a thundering score. It shows us the tension, rather than trying to make us feel it through film devices. This is helped by the setting, which could be your own suburban backyard. But none of it is possible without the chosen actors playing the leads. Josh Gad is forever likable, so we automatically want to root for him, even though he's a bit of a selfish bum, because he's also vulnerable and still loves his sister very much. Kaya Scodelario's Meg is more of the high-strung one, with a very successful husband and a sick kid, along with 2 side businesses that take up most of her time. Yet she's not full of herself because she lives in a nice house and is doing better than her brother. These two need each other. When they say, "I love you," in the middle of the madness, it's a realization that this relationship is what they need to get through, even if it's what causes all the bad shit to go down to begin with. The only negatives are that, as good as Billy Lord is, we could have used more of the manipulative grace, and for all of Anthony Carrigan's talent, it would be great to see him typecast a little less as the weird guy. He plays it so convincingly, but some of his best scenes in Barry come from when he does less. Adulthood is a film with 3-dimensional people who are good for some laughs due to their reactions, but the surrounding plot is high stakes and filled with suspense. Every single time you think you know where it's going, a new twisting avenue carries us somewhere else. It's not often you find that in today's films, so cherish it when you do. With such a unique plot, the ending can be hard to nail down, but here, it's brought home with the perfect full-circle connection. Adulthood might be filled with decay and dead bodies, yet the action is so fresh and alive.